This program will demonstrate the use of pointers to print elements of a 2D array, and it also read elements into the 2D array. Functions are used to read and print elements with following prototypes. Void print elements, the first variation of the function. Second function type we will use is void print elements, and this function will take one parameter, and the third function that we are demonstrating here is scanElements. So we will take a two-dimensional array. For simplicity, we are considering 3 by 3 array in this program. There are 3 rows and 3 columns, and all elements we are considering as integer, and declaration is somewhat like integer a 3 3. This is the array, and what we will do, first of all, we'll write a simple C code, C program. We will do, we will initialize this array with some values. That means in the first version of the program, we will not read elements to the array using keyboard. Rather, we will put some fixed element here, 6, 7, 8, like 9 elements we will add. All the elements will be available here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 say, and A is the name of the array. Include stdio.h, then start the main function. Let me close it here. End of main, then declare one integer array, say a 3 by 3 matrix. I am declaring here a 3 cross 3 matrix, and also I will declare one control variable I and j to use as a control variable for loops to be used in the program. For control loops, we'll reuse this, and instead of semicolon, I will write down comma here, continuation of the variables. Now let us say, first of all, I will not give all the elements from the keyboard. Instead of that, I will enter elements here. First row, then second row, and third row. 3 rows I will declare, and this is called a declaration and initialization of the array. Let us say 3, 5, 7, these 3 elements. Then next 3 elements are 10, 13, 10, 13 and 17, and third row of elements are say 21, 25, then 28. These are 9 elements in the array, two-dimensional array, and identified by A. Then I will go to this one, where I'll use a pointer to access elements of the array. Here 3 by 3 matrix, square bracket is missing. Let us define one variable integer star p, for example, and let me define p points to null first. Points to null. It is always a good idea to keep the pointer to null. So if I want to access the elements of this array, I will write a for loop for I is equals to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, then I will write one for loop. I will write the statements inside the for loop, which will for I, which will work as a outer for loop for printing elements. This loop, this code segment following code segment will print the elements array, elements of the array. Following code segment will, I am talking about the code segment from starting from line number 10 onwards. And I will simply write here, I will write one more for loop. This is important to have another for loop. J is equals to 0, j less than 3 again, because there are 3 number of columns, and j plus plus. So within this I will write printf. There is only single statement in this print for loop, that's why no need to give the curly bracket. So what I will do, I'll write star, then star, again within bracket p plus 1, p plus I, then I'll give one plus j. Okay, so if this is the statement, I suppose it will print all the elements in the array. However, while printing, it will not print all elements in multiple lines. Out of this printf, this will help you to understand the end of the program execution. However, here only one statement is there. Should I give one more here? Okay, so before exiting the inner for loop, what I will do, I will write one more printf statement where I will print one blank line, a new line. Okay, so this is the program which will print the element of a 2D array using pointers. Let me arrange it and check whether elements are given properly or not. Let me say this is 3, this is the first element, this second element, this is third element. Okay, 3 is 3 element, 39. Okay, that's fine. And finally here ing. Okay, it seems to be error free because nothing has been shown using in a red character or red mark. So let me execute them. Let me execute this code. Okay, segmentation fault. Problem is I did not initialize p, and p should point to a. Now is that fine? So we need to make change here. Let's define p as star 1 star. P is a pointer and assigned to null. Then this initialization statement, p is initialized with the value star of a. This will give you the address as well. So what I will check, I will print the value of a first. This will print the address of the array, and also I will do print the value of p after assigning a to p, star a to p. Let me execute this code. Let's see. A is holding the address, this one, last 3 digits are 650, last 3 650, and both are same. That means both of them are pointing to same location. And within the loop, what I am doing here, I am simply printing the content with the help of a pointer, and p is incremented by 1 after I mean p plus I, I'm using p plus I, or instead of that I can also do one thing here. Let me do this statement. Instead of giving p plus I, what I will do, I will write down here p plus plus. Let's see whether it executes or not. And I will remove this p plus I. I'll remove this p plus I and p plus plus. If I do this statement, since there are two statements, so we need to write down this is inner, this is for inner for loop with control variable j, this is end of for j. Let me execute this and let's see whether it prints the same values or not. Execute this. Plus 1 p plus plus, it should not be here. I'm making a mistake. Yeah, this one also should not be there. That, let's see. 357 p, only p. So if I change this value, then it will give you exactly using the pointer what I am doing. I am printing all the values. It's giving the correct 357. So what changes I made here is this one. I first remove p plus I statement, then p plus j statement. Instead of that, I give only p, and then I'm incrementing the value, that it increments the pointer to next element, next meaning of the. So again, let me clear this and then execute it. See here, the elements are 357, 10, 13, 17, 21, 25, 20, and exactly the values which are I have given here. This is the way that I can make use of pointers to access elements. Now let us do the same thing using a function. What I want to do, I want to declare a function which will actually, first of all, write down void print elements. I'll give this statement as this one. Print element is a function that prints and prints a 2D array, it is a function, and this is the function prototype, and I will define this function as, let me keep it as void print elements. This is end of the function. Then what I will do, I don't want to declare this array here. I want to make it a global statement. If I make it a global statement, I will be able to use it throughout the program. Anywhere in the program, not only inside the main. There are other methods as well, but I right now just want to see the accessing element using a function. That function will be of the type void. Let me close here. We close this declaration, and this is not important here because I'm not going to use all these things in this place. And then we'll close this main here. Instead of going to end main, I will close this main function, end of main, and end of main, and this function I will declare here void void name of the function is print elements. Yes, elements, then this program will start here, and this integer I comma j, which are the control variables, group control. Then I will write down star pointer p, which is assigned to null. This one I will use for pointing to the array, and I'll write down the statement here. P is equals to star of a, that the statement will and it's not necessary, but to make it clear that initially p is pointing to nowhere, I'm just putting it null, and this statement says that p is now pointing. So if I do this, then let me rearrange this statement. This one is already done, so no need to do here. All the lines here. This is the outer for loop. And this is inner for loop. I'll put it inside to make the presentation better. And this is the end of the inner for loop. And this is the statement of outer for loop, and outer for loop ends here. So if I do this, then this is not end of main, instead it is a end of the print element function. And this part I don't want, simply I will cross it out. But this is the function. End of print elements. MENTS elements, end of print elements function. Okay, now this function is defined. Let me close this. Let me delete this line, and here what I will do, I'll simply call this function print elements function. If I do this, the same should happen as what we saw in the earlier part. So that means the matrix should be printed out here, and let me execute. Seems to be all right because there is no error at all. Seems to be all right. That means program is correct. So let me execute. Before that, clear this screen, and also no need to, I don't want to print the addresses again and again. Let me delete all these lines, but instead of that I can write down as print elements of the array are like this. I can write this, and let me give a new line character. Then now let's see, execute it. There is a problem. The problem is printf elements are, okay, this is not print, it is printf. Okay, printf, is it fine? Implicit declaration, print, okay, that's fine. Now if I see, yes, all the elements are printed here. Within the same line to make out. Let us suppose that I want to write this function as inside this integer star say q, I want to call this function as this. I want to write down the function as this one. This. It means that instead of sending no argument to the function, I want to send one pointer to the function. In that case, what I am supposed to do, I have to write the same thing here, integer star q, star q. Now this prototype is changed and here it is complaining. Okay, that we will see later. So okay, let's make it p. Let's make it p so that we have to change minimum things in the function. Let's say this is p star of p, because star of p is not getting, so this cannot be done here. Let me do y means copy this and I will write down here p, and what I will do, I'll send this p here, send this. Okay, no need. What I will do, I'll send the data here, star p. I'll send star p, star a, address of the array. I'll send here. You can see star a and this star a, so this one should not be there, this one should not be there. Printf elements are this, and here it should be end of the loop, end of the variable declaration, and everything is fine. Now I'm sending the address of here, call the function print element with a pointer. What pointer I'm sending? I'm sending the pointer that points to the array A. So if I execute this code, then does it do the same thing? Does the program print the elements of the array? Let me check. Execute it. Yes, it is doing the same thing. Okay, so what I can do now, if it is the case, then this 1 2 3, this statement, this declaration, let me put it inside 3 dd, then let me print here p. Let me put it here, put these statements here. So inside the statement, inside main, I'm declaring this now becomes a local variable. It should not be visible to the rest of the function, rest of the program. That means inside this I cannot access directly here because it is a local variable to the main function. And what I can do the same thing. The program is not complaining, there is no red mark, so if I execute, then this will print the elements of the array. That's fine. Absolutely, it is working. And this is the way how I can use a function to print elements of the array using a function. And the function basically it uses a pointer. So this version, the print element function, we have seen in two different ways. The first variation of the function was to write void print elements without any parameter, and second version of the same function is with parameter. So both the way we can call it, we can define the function to print elements of the array. Right? Let me close for this, and then this is the function. We have seen that the content of two-dimensional array can be printed using pointer, and the process could be done using subprograms. We have seen two variations of subprograms, one that uses or takes parameter to call the function, one does not take parameter to call the function. And now let us see, can I do the same thing for scanning or taking input from the user for the array? Let me see. For that, again I will write a function, say scan elements, and let us say I will use one pointer similar to the earlier one, star of p. Maybe I can use the same variable, and this function will basically read all the elements into the array. Function to read elements into an array of order 3 by 3, in this case 3 by 3, and then I have to define this function. This is function prototype only, yy. Then let me go to the end of this program and I will write the same statement here, because prototype should be same here in order to define the function. Let me write down statement and then close this function. This is end of scan elements. Then what I am supposed to write inside this? First of all, I have to define two variables, control variables. Let us use these same variables, y, then n p. Y means copy, and I copy the element ij. These two elements are there. After that, I need a loop, the same loop I will be using from line number 18 till line number 26. I will copy this. From 17, say I need all the lines 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 lines I want to copy. So 11 yy, then come here, then I will print p. P means paste all the elements. So this loop is now ready, but I have to change here. Instead of printf, I will write scanf. I will write scanf instead of printf, scanf. Then it will do what it will do. P ampersand of star of p. Will it work? It's really interesting to see whether it will work or not. I will not write down this statement printf. No need to write this printf statement. And also I will remove this, and then here instead of elements I will write enter how many elements? 3 by 3, so 9 elements. 9 elements separated by space. Separated by space. Like this, I'll give one message, and I want to see whether it will read elements or not. Okay, read elements or not. Then okay, actually it is not complaining, so I think it should work. And while going to this, let me close this declaration here and let me put it in a comment. Then this too, from here to here, I will put it in a comment. I will use the same values. So what I will do, 1 2 3, I will tell 3 yy, and I'll go here pi data 1.txt. Insert this. So pi, if I say p 3 5 7, then 10 13 10 10 10 13 then 17, then this one 21 25 17 21 25 28, and I will delete all other things here. Also I need to delete the spaces in front of these values. Let me save it, WQ. Let me check what are the contents here. Data 1.1.txt. These are the elements. Now I will execute this code. And here scanElements, scan, and it will send star a as parameter, the same way it will do scanElements. Then it will go to the scanElement function. Then in the scanElement function it will read elements. Then it will go to the printElement and it will print the elements. So what I will do, I will, instead of typing, let me compile this program. The name of the program is 2D array C, and send output to 2D say out, 2D. Compile this. It's compiled. Now I will run this program, 2D.out, and it will take the input from data1.txt. So data1.txt, I know there are 9 elements, and if it happens, then it should execute. Yes, it is executing. It's working. All elements which are entered is printing. So if I change one element in the, let me change the elements here in this array. Let me write down it as insert say 23, insert 35, then 47. These are elements, new elements. Save it, WQ, then okay, then let me compile this function once again. Let me compile it to the array with pointer.c, to the array, the same function. Then I am calling this data1.txt. Now it's gone. Now it's coming. Okay. So I can use function to both read elements into the array and print element from the array. Both the functions could be done using subprograms, and these subprograms are calling, these subprograms are taking some parameters or arguments to call it, and then the elements are printed in the printElements function, and the elements are scanned from the user in the scanElement function.